Wonder how fun
All
the
right,
videos are gonna
kids.
be.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Welcome to today's Damodar class. How are you all doing?
Good Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Great
Mataji,
day.
Hare Krishna.
Phone one
All
day.
right. All right, then let's get started with today's class. You know the drill. We are still doing Bhagavad Pravaha. You know the drill. We're going to start with the prayers that is on your screen, and we're going to do that together. So let's start.
Om
Om
Agyanantirmirandasya
Shalakaya
Jnananjnansalakaya
Chakshur Unmilitam
Jnananjnana Tasmai Gurave Namaha
Namo Om
Padaya Krishna
Krishna
Krishnaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami
Namaste
Namaste
Saraswati Gauravani Pracharine
Adi
Namaste
Pujari
Saryavadi
Satyavadi
Vashisthavadi Sacharine
Shatadine
Jai
Jai
Prabhu
Jai
Jai
Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare.
Awesome. I really like the, enthusiasm today. Amazing. Let's just keep up the enthusiasm. Okay. Now, you know how we do the classes. We always go through the class. We always go through the topic that we are discussing, right? So today we are going to discuss about the universal roop of Krishna, which is Virat Rupa, right? But yeah, you all are going to pay attention to what we're going to talk about, so that at the end of this conversation or discussion about this portion of Bhagavad Pravaha, we're going to share each other's realizations, right? Or anything that you understand from this, or there are any takeaways or anything of that sort. Okay, so let's pay attention. And we would do the same thing for moral story too. All right, today we are talking about the Virat Rupa. The universe is understood to be the material form of the Supreme Lord, called the Virat Rupa, or the universal form, right? Because we all have the habit, we all are materialistic people, right? We're just trying to progress in our spiritual life, but at the end of the day, we all are doing like you kids, you're studying, we grown-ups are working or doing household chores and things like that. So everything is tangible, right? We can see what we are doing. So it is pretty much a material world, we can say that. So that is why it is this whole universe is understood to be the material form of the Supreme Lord, called Virat Rupa, because Virat Rupa was the form of Lord Krishna, which he had shown physically, right? He had shown that form, Virat Rupa form, physically to Arjuna, and that is why this comparison is done here. Actually, the Lord's forms are not material but spiritual. Now we are contradicting here for sure. We are saying, oh, Krishna's Virat Rupa, Krishna's materialistic form, which is the Virat Rupa form. But no, Krishna's forms are not material; they are spiritual. But this contradiction is happening here because of a couple of reasons, right? And we will talk about that. I don't want to jump to the conclusions first. But because the universe is the manifestation of Lord's material energy, and energy being non-different from the energetic, it is bona fide to say that this universe is also the Lord's form, called the Virat Rupa. So, because we, universe, or everything that exists and we know of, is a part of Krishna, but unless it has some physical form or a tangible form, we wouldn't know that, because we see everything through our material eyes, right? We haven't reached at a stage that even if we do not see things, we are able to feel, observe, and pursue that, right? We haven't reached that. That's our spiritual journey that we're trying to pursue. So that is what this particular text says, that everything is a part and parcel of Krishna, and it wouldn't be wrong if we say that the universe is actually a manifestation by Lord's material energy. And that is what is compared with the Virat Rupa, is his physical form. Various various aspects of this universe are compared to different cosmic limbs of the Virat Rupa. Virat Rupa is an imaginary form and has no permanent existence in the spiritual world like the other forms of Lord, like Rama, Krishna, Rama, Narsimha, Vamana, and so on. So here they are saying that Virat Rupa was a Rupa which Krishna showed to Arjuna for a specific reason, right? Because before he started with the Gita teachings with Arjuna, he showed his Virat Rupa, and when Arjuna saw that Virat Rupa, he was completely mesmerized. He saw, I mean, it was a completely a mesmerizing experience for Arjuna as well, and that's how he showed himself to him. So even though Krishna has taken the form of Virat Rupa, eventually we know that everything that's related to Krishna is all spiritual. But again, I don't want to repeat the same sentence again and again, that for the materialistic people or for the material world, he has to actually take a physical form so that it's easy for people like us to understand things. Yet the scriptures describe Virat Rupa for the benefit of common people, right? It's all for materialistic common people. People who are not very advanced in spiritual consciousness cannot accept or put faith in the personal spiritual forms of the Lord, right? This is exactly what we talked about. For us to even understand the spiritual form or form of Krishna, we really have to be at that level. We have to be really advanced in our spiritual journey. This is because the spiritual forms of the Lord cannot be perceived by their gross material senses. Exactly, that's what we talked about. All they can conceive of is that in this gross material universe, so we only can see the tangible thing, we can only understand that. So the Virat Rupa descriptions are meant to educate such people in the existence of God, using concepts and experiences that they can perceive in this universe. This approach gradually elevates their consciousness and they can eventually begin to appreciate the spiritual form of the Lord. So even in today's world, assume that we all are materialistic people, right? And somebody who probably does not believe in God, let's just say that, somebody who does not believe in God. Now, if Krishna would show a Virat Rupa to that person, what will happen? You would start believing, right? That is something that nobody could even imagine or believe. And you are seeing Krishna's Virat Rupa, the huge avatar and different Rupas. Would you not start believing in it, right? That is what happens because you have experienced that Rupa of Krishna. You have experienced Krishna right in front of you. So even such people would start believing. So that is why they're saying that. That is why Bhagavad Pravaha says that um, it is meant, the Virat Rupa of Krishna is not meant to give wrong directions to people. It is only meant, and it has nothing to do with no, sorry, it does not mean that Krishna only has this kind of this material existence. It is, Krishna is all about spiritualization, but this Virat Rupa is only meant to educate people like us, materialistic people like us, or ignorant people like us, about the existence of God. Because it's a path, right? Spiritualization is a path. If today, all of a sudden, somebody would say, oh, no, start chanting from tomorrow, would he do that or would she do that? No, it's difficult, right? Unless you actually believe in it, right? You don't do it. That's how we all started chanting, right? We believed in this whole Krishna consciousnness, and then that's how we all started. So they're saying that through this Virat Rupa, it's pretty much like educating people and slowly elevating them to next level of Krishna consciousness. So, after Mahavishnu enters into each universe as Garbhodakashai Vishnu, he manifests the universal form. All the planets, demigods, life, species, social divisions are understood as the limbs of the Virat Rupa, right? So, Again, because Virat Rupa is now, there's a personification here, right? Virat Rupa is a personification, which is a material form. They're saying that everything is connected to the material form. Now, anything that you see, right? Anything that you see as like plants or animals or human beings or anything that we see existing or we can see with our own eyes, they are associating all that with the Virat Rupa of Krishna. All the sensual functions like seeing, touching, smelling of the living entities in the universe are understood to be based on the desires of Virat Rupa. So again, all our senses are also associated with that. When the cosmic form, the Virat Rupa, desires to perform some sensory function, the corresponding sense organs, sense objects, and presiding deities of the sense manifest within the universe, right? So, when Virat Rupa wants these things to be activated, right, the particular sense to be activated, then that's how it starts functioning. The deities who control those senses or can trigger those senses, all those starts getting activated. These faculties are then utilized by the inhabitants of the universe for the same intended purpose. For example, it is because the Virat Rupa desired to see all living beings are able to see various forms through their eyes with the help of sun, right? So that's exactly what we talked about. Something that we see with our eyes, we believe in it. So this is all about that. And yeah, when this particular paragraph talks about with the help of sun brings light, right? Another example that comes to our mind is we see sun and we see sun rays. We cannot see sun rays are indifferent from sun, right? So it's pretty much is the same relationship that we have with Krishna, even though we are materialistic, even though we are trying to move forward in our with our spiritual path, but ultimately we are a part and parcel of Krishna and not separate from him. But again, Krishna's Virat Roop is associated with that material part of it just to educate people. Thus, because of the faculties manifested by the Virat Rupa, the living entities are able to perform their corresponding sensual functions because that's how everything gets activated. Well, this is where we end today. A little philosophical, but I know you all definitely would have understood something out of it. You all practice that on day-to-day basis. So let's read the crux of today's content. The desire for all kinds of sense perception and the sense organs exist in the Supreme, and resultantly, they exist in the individual living being. Again, the crux of the story is that we are a part and parcel of Krishna. If there is if whatever organs are working in our body, or whatever we are doing, or whatever is related to our existence in this universe, it's all because everything is tied to Krishna. So we are actually a part and parcel of Krishna. All right, kids. What happened? All right, kids. This is where we end Bhagavad Gita section. Now let's see. Any of you wants to share anything from what we have learned today? Anybody? Any thoughts? No thoughts. Come on. I know. This class is such a talkative class. How can you not have anything to share? Yeah, go ahead, Balabanda.
I really like the class how you were saying Virat Rupa, how you're talking about Virat Rupa.
Okay. Thank you, Balabanda. Anybody else? Param, go ahead.
Mataji, I was my hand raise was late, but I was gonna say about the like I like the Virat Rupa explanation. That's what I was gonna say, like Balavinda thing. But it was a nice class.
Sure, thank you. I know it's not very straightforward for anyone, but as we move forward with more discussions around this topic, I'm sure you'll understand. Anybody else before we move on? Spurti, go ahead.
Mataji, so is Sarka the creation of the universe, Mataji?
Sarka is the creator of the universe?
Is Sarka the creation of the universe, Mataji?
Sarka. Who can answer this? I have no idea.
I think it is Mataji.
It
Yeah,
is,
Mataji,
right?
it is because yesterday we did that.
Oh gosh, see, I knew you know more than me because you've been reading everything and I just read today's content. So the answer is yes.
Sarga's initial creation, universal creation by the
It
Supreme
is. It is. Because we did it yesterday. Right?
Lord. I was not here yesterday.
Awesome. I like kids are answering other kids. Very nice. Thank you for helping here. Anybody else? Prahlad and Raghav, did you want to share something?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Rupas to educate people about the greatness of Krishna.
Yes, absolutely. That exactly was the point. Yep. Thank you for sharing that. All right, kids. So yeah, thank you for sharing all your thoughts on today's topic. Let's move on. So what is happening today?
Why is it showing a question mark?
Yeah, I know, right? I don't
That's
know.
weird.
It wasn't showing question mark before and now it is. So let's see if it's still working or yeah, there's something. Wait. I think one thing we can do is rewrote this. Maybe it will work. Okay, looks like it should work now. All right.
Can you
So
put a slideshow? Yeah, thank you, Mataji.
yeah, so today's activity is moral story. I like talking about it and I know you like listening. So let's hear this.
Mataji, you choose the good one. We didn't do this one.
How do you know we didn't do this one?
Because I can remember things. I'm good at remembering things.
All right, if we didn't do this, good for us. All right, so let's start. And again, pay attention at the end of the story. Let's hear what moral did this story have. All right, the person is known by his words. Is that true?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But what if people say something and they do something else? Would that work?
I don't know.
Depending on you, depending on the person.
I confused you, right? But no,
Depending on the person.
depending on the person. No, so that is why you say what you say you should do as well, right? That is where people would trust you. So of course, person is known by his words, but if you say something which people believe in, and if it does opposite, well, that's not going to leave good impression on people, right? They would say, oh, he's not trustworthy because he says something and does something else. But today, let's not get into this conflicting conversation. Today's story is all about a person is known by his words. So let's see what happens here. Once upon a time, a king with his minister went to the forest on hunting expedition. That's what kings used to do earlier. They would hunt and eat. But after some time, the king became very tired. Well, they've been out. So, unlike today, they didn't have cars or any kind of public transport. They will ride the horses and they will get tired too because there'll be sun and whatnot, different kind of weather conditions. So he was tired. They got down off their horses and took rest under the tree. While they were resting, the king said that he was very, very thirsty and he wanted one of his minister or a person to get some water so that they can drink some water and relax. Now, the minister started searching water in the jungle. At last, there seems to be some human dwelling. Let me ask there for the water. So he kept looking, and finally he found a place where he saw some, if you can see in the picture, there are some huts, and he realized, okay, if they're huts, there should be humans there, and he could get some water from there. When he reached that hut, there was a blind sage sitting there. And the minister started asking him, "Hey, I'm a minister. I have come here to find drinking water for our king. So give me immediately." Do you see? He was so proud because he was a minister to the king. And immediately the sage said, "Tell your king that if he wants water, he should come here." So the sage was equally arrogant here. Now, minister came back to the king and he told king that I found a place for drinking water, but the sage is not giving the water. He says that I only would give the water if the king comes and asks for the water. King started thinking there has to be something wrong. Let me go investigate. Why would anybody not give water? Water is the simplest thing one could offer to others, right? So he started thinking there has to be something wrong. And the king immediately rushed to the sage and he said, "My dear sage, how are you? Can I please have some water to drink?" So king was very humble in his approach. When he asked for the water, the sage immediately said yes. He said, "Yeah, sure." And not just that, sage continued that after water, you may have some fruits and then take rest in my hut. So, because you're tired, why don't you drink water, eat some fruits, and then rest. And once you're okay, you can, continue with your journey. Now, king said, "Oh, sage, you are so merciful to us. Please let me know how I can repay you." So, king was good. The sage was good. They were communicating really well, humbly with each other. So when the sage offered so many things to the king, now he being the king, right? He would like to repay. He doesn't want to keep anything to himself. He liked to pay the price of any offering. But he did not want to say that I will pay you in money or something like that, because that's not the right thing to say to a sage. So he just asked, how can he repay him? So the sage said, "O king, you have come to my hut, and this itself is your mercy." Right? I mean, I'm so privileged that the king of this place has come to my hut. I mean, what else can I ask for? Now, king is a little perplexed. He's thinking, okay, this sage seems to be very nice. Then what went wrong when my minister came here? So he asked him, "I am bewildered. When my minister came here for the water on my behalf, you simply refused. And I thought that you must be a very cruel person. But now, when I am talking to you, I realize that you are a very merciful person. If you don't mind, can I ask you to please explain me why why there is this sudden change in your behavior?" So he is asking this question to the minister, to the sage, and sage told him that your minister was so proud of himself, and he was very, very rude when he was talking to me. So there is a difference between him and you. You are very gentle and very respectful. So I realize that you must be the king, and that is why you deserve the best treatment. And just because you are so humble in your approach, how can, I refuse for anything? So King was a good king, and he did ask for the forgiveness from the sage for the behavior his minister conducted while he was interacting with the sage. And the sage definitely, as he is a sage, very knowledgeable person, he still wanted to explain that further. He said, a person is known by his speech and behavior. Okay, this is what we started talking about in the beginning, right, kids? We said that, oh, if somebody says something and does something else, is that acceptable? So that exactly is what the sage is also saying, that the person is known by his speech and behavior. Speech and behavior, both, right? It's a combination. No matter how great his material position is. One could be king, one could be the prime minister or the president of any country. But the more he becomes great, he should become more humble, right? With greatness, he should become more humble, not proud. Because he will realize that Jivatma is so insignificant in this material world, right? And that is why the person will become humble as he grows, to a better position and grow more in life. The person has to realize that this Jivatma is so insignificant, right? And this is a material world, and our existence is, I mean, it has no relevance. It has no relevance. And when you realize that, you actually behave properly. And now minister was listening to this entire conversation. He was there during that time, and king told him, I hope you have learned a good lesson, right? Because the way sage explained and the way king behaved with the sage, that was all a learning for the minister. Okay, kids, I think this is, yeah. So he says, yes, king, please forgive my immaturity. I shall improve. All right, kids, this is where we end the story. Now I'm gonna open up the forum for you all. If you want to share anything from today's story, anything that you learned. Okay, Balamranda, let's start with you.
Hare Krishna Mataji, I really like the story how he learned his lesson. Because you're not supposed to talk harshly to people whenever you're asking them for something. You have to say, can you please? Not just say, you have to say, can you give me water? You can't say that. You gotta say it nicely. Can you please give me water for my kid? So, but he spoke harshly, and the king spoke really nice. And the king was being really nice, but the minister was being mean. So we should always be nice to other people and speak nice words to other people.
Exactly, very well said. And in this situation, he was asking for water, so he was asking for a favor from somebody else, right? He can't order. Very well said. Thank you. Ryan, you're next.
So, Mataji, what we should never say rude things to other because you would get punished by Krishna because that's because we cannot be rude to other devotees. So we need to ask, please, and can I please? That's what we had to say.
Exactly. Behavior, very important. Thank you. Madhav, you next.
So we should always be humble, and we should always be kind, and we should always be polite.
Very well said. Thank you, Madhav. These are the qualities of a good human being, right? So, very well said. Sanvi, you next.
Mataji, from I learned from this story that when the minister spoke harshly to the sage, he didn't have humility, and he was like very, very proud because he thought he was a minister of a king. But king was very kind, and he asked nicely, and he wasn't really proud of what he was. So that's what I wanted to say.
Exactly. Thank you for sharing that. And on that topic, even the sage was so knowledgeable and learned person, right? But he wasn't proud at all. So really, there was no need. Thank you. Spurti, you're next.
So what I think the moral of the story is so Mataji, so when the king wanted water, the minister went to get some water at that hut. So when he saw the sage, he was like, oh, I'm a greater quality than the sage because I'm the king's minister. I'm more perfect than the sage because I'm the helper of the king. And
Exactly.
so he had that cruel thought that he is like more than the sage. So, but he didn't understand that he was just a part of the king, but he wasn't the king. But the king, he was he was very nice, and he doesn't have like any cruel thoughts about the sage. And he really noticed that this was a sage. Oh, he's a very knowledge person. He's a very learned person, and so he can help me out. So the king asked the sage very nicely, but on the other side, the minister asked it very cruelly. So
Exactly. That was the difference. Thank you for sharing your thoughts. Rishya, you next.
So Mataji, like this story reminds me of the 16th chapter, 21st sloka. Like in the 21st sloka, it says like the 3 ways to hell. So basically, this minister he's basically being like, he's like having a lot. No, like he's being like very mean. Like it's related to that. He's being very mean, but there's like king. He's not the king himself, and he thinks like he's the minister of the king, but he's being so cruel. But the king himself is being so gentle.
Exactly. Thank you for sharing your thoughts. Palvit?
Mataji, it's actually like bad for like the stage to say like, hey, like hey, go get that guy over here. It's like very mean. He was like saying like in a rudely voice. Like he was saying so rudely. Like it's like bad. He has to like even though he's so tired, it's like he can move because sometimes if you are feeling like hot, you might like you cannot walk, so it will he but it was a short place only, but that's well like very bad to like say cruelly and rudely.
Exactly. Very true. Thank you. Shubhadra and Girdhari, want to go next?
Yes, Mataji. So I think that the moral of the story is that be aware of your actions because you never know who someone's gonna do next, like their actions, what they would do next. So
Exactly.
you should think before you speak.
Yeah, very important.
Hare Krishna Mataji. So Mataji, the moral of the story is that we, whenever we do something, whenever we judge someone, even though we don't show respect, that is the moral of the story is to always show respect and kindness towards others, which other people can treat it like you, basically.
Right. Exactly. Thank you.
Mataji, can we
Yeah,
move on to the next story?
there's no next story.
Oh, okay. Mataji, can I go ahead next?
Yes, Param, you next.
Yeah. So, Mataji, what I think the moral of the story is that we should be kind to each and everyone because we should treat others like how we want to be treated. For example, like if you don't want everyone like laughing at you if you got a problem wrong or you don't know the question and that you shouldn't laugh. Like people shouldn't laugh at you and you shouldn't laugh at anyone else. And also like we should show respect to everyone, but for like the like this whoever we be, like if it's like devotees, we should be more like more kind, like we should be respectful to them because they are preaching to others, so we don't want to disturb them.
Yeah,
Or we
absolutely.
can I don't mean like not talk to them, but just don't talk about anything material because just trying to spread the movement of Srila Prabhupada.
Yeah, Absolutely. Tushita, you want to share your thoughts?
Yes, Mataji. We should be humble like the king, and we should not be proud of ourselves like the servant minister.
Oh, very nice, very thoughtful. Thank you, Tushita. Divan.
So we should treat everyone like how we want to be treated, and we don't want to speak harsh words and speak harshly to them.
Exactly. Well, thank you all for sharing your thoughts. I think you all covered pretty much everything that we could learn from this story. You know, being humble, right treatment to people, everything you talked about. So with that, we should wrap up our today's class. And we're going to wrap up our class with Sri Vaishnav Pranam Mantra. It's on your screen.
Mataji, I thought Kahoot was there today.
Yeah, there was no Kahoot today, but we can plan next time. There was no Kahoot today.
Mataji.
I don't know why there was a confusion, but yeah. Well, we can plan next time, surely. Okay? All right. Anything else before we wrap up, kids? All right. So let's wrap up with Sri Vaishnav Pranam Mantra. It's on your screen, and we're going to do that too. It's Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare.
Okay, Hare Krishna, kids. Yeah, you can just exit out of this class. Hare Krishna. See you in the next class. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, is the class over, Mataji? Okay. Yeah.
Let's
Thank
go
you.
live.
Bye, kids. Bye. Bye.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranam.